Okay. And is Osterberg, is that a Norwegian name or Swedish or what is that?
Swedish. It is Swedish.
All right.
Exactly.
That's what I kind of thought so. But anyway, David Osterberg, of course, is a co-founder of what once was the Iowa Policy Project and is now commongood.com. I do have that correctly, don't I, David?
Yes, you do.
Okay. Is a Common Web or is a Common Good website up yet? Or
Yeah, I think it is. It's up, and I even have a couple things on it that did recently, trying to keep your kid's job at Palo, those kinds of things.
that would be great. That would be great if you keep his job there at Palo, but you got to deal with it, you got to deal with it and move on the best you can. That's kind of life. I'm just so philosophical today. I guess can't handle it. Anyway, we watched, I did, and you did, I know, watched the governor's State of the State address. And one thing I noticed is that she seemed more self-assured. That's not exactly policy, but she seemed more self-assured than she had in past State of the State addresses. She oftentimes looked like she was ready to bolt from the camera. The first time I met her, she came into the studio with Governor Branstad, then Governor Branstad. She was Lieutenant Governor. And I was impressed by her. She's a Republican. You can only be impressed so much. But she did seem to be mic shy. But I've seen that many times in the radio business and television business, for that matter. Mic shy means you look at that microphone and you just clam up. But David and I don't have that problem. So
no, we don't. And she's got a lot better. I went off to see an address she made when she was running against Fred Hubbell.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it was, I thought Fred might be in some trouble. She looked pretty good.
Well, Steve King delivered the state for her. I mean, Steve King over in the 4th District, the 4th District voters are really the reason that Kim Reynolds is in the governor's mansion. Hubbell was a strong candidate. He worked it too. He was in Fort Dodge a few times. But Reynolds kicked Steve King to the curb over that New York Times interview, and I thought, man, this is brutal politics, man, and we're seeing it on display now.
No kidding, aren't we though? I mean, this politics. This is something I did for 12 years.
Yeah, you were a former state senator.
Yeah, I think that it's I keep saying this. You'd fight about some issue that you disagreed on pretty fundamentally, and then go to dinner with the same people. No, this is all different, and it's much worse. America's much worse.
We lack the understanding that a difference of opinion and the freedom to worship or not is really what makes this country great.
Yeah.
And we cannot lose that. There's been a lot of assaults on the First Amendment from everywhere. Oh my gosh, this is offensive language, or this shouldn't be said. Come on, man. I'm sorry. I'm taking us down a weird road here. So
let's go. Let's see where that goes.
Well. So, Governor, I do want to address the reason that you called today, anyway, is that Governor Reynolds, and this surprised me, and I thought of you actually when I watched her speech. Governor Reynolds did talk about the environment and some of the things that she wanted to see done as far as the environment is concerned. Were you impressed or were you unimpressed?
No, I did not see. Now, first of all, the big deal last year, we are going to finally fund this water quality outdoor recreation initiative. Remember, that was a change in the 2010 election that actually went into the Iowa Constitution, that we were going to spend money on outdoor recreation, water quality, because Iowans believe in it. And there was a big vote. 63% of Iowans said, you bet, even though it meant raising taxes. And so the deal was, okay, we're going to raise the sales tax, which is the requirement.
Right.
And then we're going to do all this stuff, and then we're going to cut a whole bunch of taxes, and actually at the end, there's no new money. So schools have to compete with a little more money for outdoor recreation. That's what I was talking about with you last time.
Mm-hmm.
It was just an excuse. All she wants to do is cut taxes. She found it convenient to say, I like water quality and I like outdoor recreation, but she didn't have to say it this year because she's cutting taxes anyway. So nothing in here is for outdoor recreation and water quality. No new initiatives that I can see. And I've read the reports on it, and I, looked at what she was saying, went through the transcript. Where's the water quality? Where's the, Iowa needs cleaner water. Iowa needs outdoor recreation. I don't see it. And all it was an excuse. And that's what I told my friends at the Iowa Natural Heritage Foundation. Look, you're being stupid by getting on board with her. All she wants to do is cut taxes. You're not going to get anything out of this, really. And I hope they realize that. I'm really trying to say, I told you so. I love saying, I told
God,
you
don't
so.
you? I mean, everybody denies that they like saying that, but I'll be upfront about it. I love it.
Yeah.
I told you so. I told you so.
Well, you kind of do with a wry smile and don't say it exactly, whatever, but you like it. You know you do.
Oh, yeah. And I don't do rye. I just can't. I just can't help myself. I got to do a war dance, But hey, this is AM 1400 KVFD, the voice for Dodge. Our guest is David Osterberg with Common Good Iowa. Being in favor of clean water and a clean environment is an easy thing to say, isn't it?
It's easy to say.
Who would you be opposed to?
Put some money behind it or something.
David, you know as well as I do that the reason the Republican Party exists, and the great columnist and conservative Robert Novak used to say this all the time, the reason the Republican Party exists is to cut taxes. Period. End of story. By the way, those of you, and I can't say, how do I put this without getting the wrath of Osterberg?
Okay. All right.
Some of Trump's policy positions were pretty good. However, if you, again, are thrilled by the fact that Trump had the stock market going strong, that usually means nothing to you and me, the local folks. I mean, I have a 401k like everybody does, but really the beneficiaries of a booming stock market are the people who own it.
Who own it. Oh, yeah. The 80% of the stocks are owned by whatever the top 0.1% or top 10,
Sure.
10th of 1%. Anyway, no, we all have, you have a 401k and you see it go up and you then ask yourself, how long can I live on this amount of money that I gained this year? And it's a few months. It's not, this is not what you're going to live on. You can't. Most of the money, there is some money, middle-class people have money in the stock market, no question. But boy, there's not much. It's only the wealthy. And you and I have 401ks, but if you're below, the bottom 40%, you don't have one.
No, you're hosed.
Yeah, you're really hosed. Exactly.
What did you find of interest to you, or what did you find in the governor's speech that would be beneficial to everyone in Iowa? And by the way, tax cuts. Who wants to pay taxes? I don't.
Yeah,
personally.
right.
I'd like to get all these services for nothing
nothing. Exactly. So if you want to have a whole bunch of new services, it seems that you don't at the same time say, and what we really need to do is cut taxes. Rural broadband, I'm kind of in favor of that. I think that we ought to make sure that rural areas keep up, and the broadband certainly helps that. I don't begrudge the governor wanting to spend a lot of money, $450 million over 3 years on broadband.
Yeah.
But then stop trying to cut taxes at the same time.
Forget that.
You can't. It isn't like everything else is fixed. And here's the other thing that's got me. She talks about, we went through some tough times. I would probably say that the tough times were as tough because she did such a bad job on COVID-19. But, let's look at something like the derecho. The derecho shows that, damn it, I like the fact that my city has a bunch of guys that go out there and, clean up the street. After all, it's full of trees. I love social services, and we call them on as soon as we have bad times. But then you go ahead and say the biggest thing we need to do, and what what this year proved is we need to cut taxes. No, it didn't. It proved that we need more of these services.
But you see, all you have to say is cut taxes and people stop listening. Yes, cut taxes. That's all we have to do.
Yeah.
Hey, wait a minute. Nobody's plowing the street in front of my house.
Right. What happened there? Yeah.
I just
it must be somebody lazy, and let's go blame somebody rather than, hey, where's the budget?
It's those people on food stamps, Osterberg. Those damn people on food stamps. Is that your phone?
Yeah, it's my phone. I'm going the other room.
All right.
My friend from Washington State, my college roommate.
Oh, really?
My college roommate. We lived together a few years when we were at Washington State University. Remember?
Oh, is that where you went?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Cow College, called Cow College, of course. No, he and I, every year for the last 20-some, have gone camping every single year someplace.
Okay, well, that's great. That's cool.
It's really, you want those kind of, you want those kind of friendships.
Absolutely. Where do you go? Wyoming or someplace like that?
Yeah.
Or?
Oh, yeah. Right. Oftentimes we go places around Washington State, but we go every place.
Well, there's a lot of country out there where you can have a great camping experience. I have friends. I have several friends that moved from Iowa to Montana, and we never saw them again. It's a beautiful country up there. I've been up there several times, and yeah, it's. Wherever you want to camp up there would probably be a good choice, or Wyoming, certainly.
Or Wyoming, it's really a great country. This is a great country. Let me say that.
This is a great country. I think we need to start saying it more and more and more. I don't know if there's been so many scare tactics used. I think it finally sunk in over the years. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do indeed.
And I'm not talking just about Trump. He was a master of fear. There's no doubt. But I'm not talking just about him. Everybody it seems that we don't vote for people because we want to support their moral policy or position anymore. We vote because we're too afraid of the other person running.
Yeah.
Which is a ridiculous way to run a country. I don't like this person over here, but I'm going to vote for them because they're less offensive than this person over here.
Yeah, that was the 2016 election, that's for sure.
No, it really
Nobody
was.
liked Hillary. Well, no, wait a minute. Many people did not like Hillary there.
Her own communications director said right after the election, we didn't realize we were putting up a candidate that the country hated. That's the truth. Her own communications director came out and said, we didn't understand that the country hated Hillary. Now, the Hillary diehards will come forward and say, well, she won by 3 million votes.
But she did, yeah.
And that's absolutely true. But really, if you take away California and New York, Trump is reelected. And Hillary wouldn't have stood a chance. So there's a lot of country there. And granted, not as many popular votes. But there's a lot of country. And I'm not just talking land-wise. A lot of country didn't care for Hillary. But she was so entrenched in the Democratic Party that she really guilted the party and said, are you doing the dishes while I'm trying to make a point here or what?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, this is so interesting. I think I'll do the dishes.
Well, listen, this is COVID-19.
I'm familiar with it. Yeah. I'm familiar. I've told this story so many times. I'm sure some of the listeners are getting worn out. As a matter of fact, WHO TV down in Des Moines carried a segment on it on Dave Price's Insider. But there's a supervisor here in town, Nikki Conrad. And Nikki and I do not see eye to eye on politics or the way the country should proceed at all. As a matter of fact, she won't appear on the show, which is probably, again, as I said during the film clip, a wise decision because we just be yelling at each other. But I want to tell you, when I got real sick with COVID, Nikki was one of the first one to text and come over to my house and offer help.
No,
that's
good.
The truth. And we didn't have much to say to each other for a long time, but she just, I don't know. I've never really talked to her about it. I've texted back and forth with her, but I'm sure she just thought it was something she should do as a good human being. And that's the truth, by the way. We should also do things because we're good human beings. We don't need to talk. it doesn't make you a good human being if all you do is hate somebody. Oh God, Trump is so awful. There, I'm a good human being. No, it doesn't work that way. Be a good human being. If you don't know how to be a good human being, call David Osberg. Give him your David, he's old school, Peace Corps, the whole thing. I mean, he's old school good guy. All right, so back to the governor's speech here briefly before we run out of time.
Yeah, I guess the points are nothing in there for the environment that I could see. Cutting taxes at the same time you need to make more expenditures. Well, then if you both expand broadband and decide to give something like $500 million tax cut, then how are you going to fund your schools? Come on. That's what I got out of the speech. That's my summary.
She did mention, and that was one of the first things that she mentioned, that I believe I heard this, that she wanted to expand school choice. Now the teachers union starts doing backflips as quick.
Well, they do, but so do school boards. I mean, it's not just the unions; it's the same kind of thing. You can't. It's the whole idea that it doesn't cost anything to take money away from institutions we depend on. It does too.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, especially schools. I mean, a strong public education. We realized 100 years ago that if we were going to have a strong nation, we had to educate the population.
That's right.
And that's absolutely correct. We had to educate the population in civic duty, obligation, and certainly the basics, reading, writing, and arithmetic. We had to have those things because we were becoming an industrial society. And those things were indispensable if we were going to have an industrial society. Now, I don't know, maybe the only business worth getting into now is a restaurant business, and maybe we're just training waiters and chefs now. But I still think that we should have a strong public school program.
Here.
Yeah, really. The Republicans I have in my program turn green when I say this, but if we realize the value of public education K through 12 100 years ago, we should recognize that there should be funding, not just loans, but actual funding for trade schools, as I still call them, community colleges, actually, is what they're known now.
Exactly.
But we just can't. Yeah, a high school diploma, great, but you have to have more than that. You have to have a skill, or you're never going to get a job unless it's at Walmart. And I'm no big fan of Walmart, by the way.
Yeah, nor am I. And precisely that. Yeah, and actually, my dad out in North Dakota was the principal of a high school in Zoll, North Dakota.
Wow.
He started it. So he was there for the first, second, third, and the first graduating class. That's what he did. And then you know what he did?
What's
he
that?
decided to go be a farmer in 1931.
Bad move, Dad. Bad move.
Bad judgment on his part.
North Dakota is pretty remote, buddy. I don't know. There's a town up there called Minot.
Oh, yeah.
And if Air Force personnel there get remote duty pay. Thank you, David. It's 3:00.
From tuning an engine to replacing a fuse, you can learn it all under the hood. Heard every Saturday afternoon from 2 till 4 on the voice of Fort Dodge, AM 1400 KVFD, Fort Dodge.
More and more of the Capitol is being closed off. Lisa Brady, Fox News. What had been tight security planned for next week's inauguration is getting tighter by the day.